This is a continuation of lesson 4 on how to find the surface area of a triangular prism. Now, as we saw in the first lesson, is that a triangular prism is composed of 3 rectangles and 2 triangles. So when the question asks you to sketch a net is when you basically cut it and flatten it. We need to be able to see that there are 3 rectangles and 2 triangles on the sides. Once you've sketched it, you need to label it with the dimensions. Now, by looking at the triangular prism, we can see that the height of the rectangular prism is 30 centimeters. That's how wide it goes. So the top lines, these horizontal lines, would all be considered 30 centimeters. Now, if I look at the dimensions of my triangle, I've got one side that's 20 centimeters, one side that's 15, and one side that is 25. So I could say, I'll say that the base here of my triangle is 25. So this would be the base of my triangle here. And the height of my triangle is 12 centimeters. Now, we could say that this side would be 15 because this side of my triangle would be 15. And then I'll say that the side of this rectangle is the third one we haven't used yet, which is the 20 centimeters. Now that we have sketched the net, the question asks us, what is the surface area? So what we did in the first lesson was you find the area of each rectangle and each triangle, and then you add them all together. So my top rectangle here, I have 30 times 15, which gives me 450. The second rectangle is 30 by 25. 30 times 25 gives me 750. And the bottom one is 30 by 20. So 30 times 20, which gives me 600. Now the 2 triangles, again, are the same dimensions. They always will be, but so we have to do it twice. So we go 1/2 times the base, which is 25, times the height, which is 12, which gives me 150. We do it again, is another 150. So in total, when you add all those numbers up, it gives us 2,100 centimeters squared. And that is the surface area of my triangular prism. So let's keep going and look at the next example here. So again, we need to find the area of each of our rectangles. So I see one here that is 10 by 12. So we go 10 times 12 gives me 120. The bottom is 8 by 12, which is 96. And then the one on the far side here is also 6 by 12. Now, one thing you could also notice is each side of my triangle, if you look at the dimensions of the triangle, it's 6, 8, and 10. So 6, 8, and 10 is multiplied by the width of the triangular prism. So that's a trick to be able to help you figure out the dimensions of your 3 rectangles. Finally, we're going to do the area of our triangle faces. So it's 1/2 times the base times the height. Now in this case, 8 is my base and 6 is my height because this is a right triangle. So this gives me 24. And then there's also the triangle at the back, which has the same dimensions. It's also 24. We add those together and it gives us 338 centimeters squared. Now, if we look at this next one, and if we use the trick that I just showed you, we look at the dimensions of our triangle. We have a 9 meters. And then these 2 sides of the triangle, when there's these little lines here, it tells me that they're equal. So they're both 8 meters. Now you multiply each of those by the height of our prism, which in this case is 11. So there, just like that, I found the dimensions of my 3 rectangles. This gives me 99, 88, and 88. Now we need to do the triangular faces. So it's a half times the base times the height. The base of my triangle is 9, and the height is 6.6. All right, so this one, let's figure that out. If I go 9 times 6.6 times a half or divided by 2 gives me 29.7. Now the bottom face will give me the same thing. All right, so now I could just add all those together. 99 plus 88 plus 88 plus 29.7 plus 29.7. So it gives us a total of 334.4 meters squared. All right, we've got one more example. Now for this one, if we look at our triangle, it looks like it is an equilateral triangle. Each side of the triangle is 6 millimeters. So all 3 of my rectangles are going to have 6 times the height of our prism, which is 25. So all 3 rectangles are exactly the same dimensions. So that all gives us 150. Now for the triangle, it is 6 or a half times the base, which is 6, times the height, which is 5.2, which gives me 15.6. And then the other triangle is the same. It also gives me 15.6. And we add all that together, it gives us 481.2 centimeters squared. So that's it. That's how you find the surface area of a triangular prism.